Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the January 2026 meeting of the Mountain View Computer Users Group. My name is John Buno. I'm the president, and I'll be running this meeting. And before we get started, I do want to we do have a sponsor this month. This month, Carolyn McLean, the candle lady, who is also our treasurer, sitting right over here with the red hat. We've got some new stuff for, she sells candles, by the way, for those you don't know. They are wonderful gifts. If you get caught up for a gift, these are great. And let's see, we got Raphael, which I do not know what fragrance that is. Carolyn, what?
I'm not even sure. I can't remember that.
Oh, okay. So it's the fragrance of the month for January. Then coming up for Valentine's Day, we have Sweet Tarts, which I think is new, isn't it?
Well, they only had it come out around Cat Valentine's.
But these are really great candles. They last forever. See, Carolyn, if you're interested, they make really great presents. Now, moving right along, sponsorship is $10 per meeting, $100 per year, and these are the biddings you get for it. I'm not going to go in that much detail. Today's agenda, because this is the important stuff. We're going to talk about MVCUG business, very short. Then we're going to talk about timely tech topics, which is short. Not much happened this month. What did happen was really interesting. A question and answer. Then we get down to the main presentation for this month. What can we trust? Diving down the AI rabbit hole. What I'm going to do is this presentation, longer I did it, the more excited about it I got. I'm going to show you how you can and cannot detect deep fake everything, audio, video, the whole 9 yards, what to look for, what you can spot, what you can't spot. And then I've got a very interesting last slide. Our website, this is what it looks like. AI and You Part 2. Next month will be Part 3, in which we go in and actually start looking at how to engineer AI to get what you want out of it. This is the group list. If you are a member and you are not getting our group emails, please send an email to president@mvcug.org. That will get to me and we will get you added to the list. Everybody should be on that list. And you can use the list if you have a question. I'm trying to do X and it's not working. Help will be on the way. One of the big benefits of this group is our professional consultation. Barry and I, and these are our phone numbers, will provide you assistance whenever you need it. If it's over the phone or it's in a virtual session, if we have to come to your home, which we do charge a small fee, $35 an hour, but we guarantee if we can't fix it, you don't pay for it. That's the big benefit. What's coming up? Next month, we'll be meeting on Valentine's Day, getting the most out of AI assistance, prompt engineering. One of the most frustrating things about using AI, figuring out what to ask it for. That's called prompt engineering. I will give you a sort of a taste of it on a project I'm working on, and I have some tips for you on how to do it. The best way to do AI is to treat it as if you were talking to a person describing what you want. The more detail you give it, the better your results are going to be.
And your adjectives need to be improving all the time.
Yes, but treat it as if you're talking to a person. I know it's not real, but it is the best way of doing it. You're trying to describe what you want to a person who has no idea what you're talking about. That's the best way to do prompt engineering. March 14th, Pi Day. This presentation has been years in the development. I'm going to try and explain at a layman's level how the internet actually works. I will be bringing in all the potions, the incantations, and give you an idea of what actually is going on. And more than likely, Mike, I think you'll agree with me, by the time I get done, you'll be amazed that it actually does work.
I'm dying to see what you do in 3 hours, but you take me to this teach.
The internet does work. Many of you get frustrated when it doesn't work. Well, when we get done, I hope to explain to you what causes that frustration sometimes. And the fact that it does work is amazing. And then I'm going to try and explain how email works and how the web works, because those are actually different entities. They all have the same underlying concept, same underlying road, but the vehicles on that road are completely different. And then, yes, sir.
I'll mention one thing. We were having trouble a couple months back with our cocks going in and out
Yeah.
half dozen times a day.
Yeah.
I finally called them up and said, come out and check our stuff. And they checked inside the house, we're fine. Then they went out to the pole. They wound up sending out an engineer and he spent a day out going between the pole and the junction box. There was an issue there. So house's infrastructure is kind of showing its age. They had to fix that out there.
Yeah. Okay, and then in April, We're going to be doing on spams and scam. What to look for, what ones we know about. Okay. Everything you didn't know you wanted to know and what happened this month. Well, one of the big things we have is that Chase to be the new Apple Bank for the Apple credit card. Sachs Goldman was Chase's take what? Goldman Sachs, Chase is replacing them. It's going to have all the same services. It'll be transparent to the user with phased implementation. I'm still with Goldman Sachs. I don't know about you, Barry.
Yeah, it's not going to change. It's going to be a 24-month transition. One of the reports that I heard after the Apple press release was that there's a good chance everybody that has an Apple card, they'll be issued a brand new card. They'll have the J.P. Morgan Chase branding instead of Goldman Sachs. They're not sure what about the benefits.
Oh, I think it's going to be the same.
Well, for the 2 years until they get finished, it'll
after-
continue as it is now.
Okay, but what it's going to be after? Okay.
What it's going to be after that, because one of the things that Goldman Sachs, I mean, they've lost billions of dollars. Part of it is because they got a lot of subprime card members that aren't paying accounts off. But there are also Apple's generous benefits in terms of cash back on the purchases has cost them more than they wanted. So we don't know if that's going to stay the same or not.
Yeah. But since we're talking about this, I want to talk about digital wallets. Android and Apple both use the same concept with digital wallets. Your digital wallet is more secure than using your card. What happens is when you use your digital wallet, it does not transmit your actual card number information, not the card number, not the CVV code or the expiration date. It coordinates with the bank and generates a temporary number that is only good for 15 minutes for a single transaction. So if anybody captures that number, it's going to get declined immediately because it won't be good. I have seen this happen. Somebody managed, and I don't know how, to get my Apple credit card and kept trying to use it. And it kept getting declined, getting declined, getting declined. And so I finally called up Goldman Sachs and said, what gives? And they said, oh, don't worry about that. I said, this is what happened, because they could see what was going on. So I know it really works. It works with all credit cards that you have put into your digital wallet. They all work the same. That's why it has to go up to the bank, get registered with the bank for that transaction to take place. One thing, and now I don't know if Android digital wallet does this, but I know on the Apple that every transaction you have with that card, when you use the digital wallet, is recorded so you can see it immediately, who it went to. So if a false one comes in, which I've had happen, it won't be recorded. It's like every time I use it, I know, okay, this is Dutch Brothers, this is Safeway, and it's immediate. So I know everything is good to go. Something you don't get with using a regular credit card.
Question.
Yes.
So you have to register your digital wallet with a certain bank, right? Or credit union.
No, when you go to put in your credit card in your digital wallet.
No, that's what I'm saying, because when I go to my credit union, it has a thing that says digital wallet, and I've never clicked on it at all because I'm a little leery of it.
Oh no, exactly.
To register it with a certain bank or credit union or something before you use it.
This is the process. You put we actually on the iPhone, you just hold up your credit card to the camera. It takes out all the information, contacts the bank, registers with the bank, comes back and says it is now authorized.
I don't really have to do anything in my bank. Well, I use Android.
When you see that, click on it, and it will take care of it for you automatically. Like if you're up and getting tickets at a ticketing event, if you see the little digital wallet symbol, that means it's going to put it in your digital wallet for you. You get tickets, loyalty cards, plane tickets, railroad tickets, transportation tickets. You don't have to carry regular. I don't carry my regular wallet anymore. Yes, ma'am.
With this wallet,
Yeah.
can you use it if you're using your credit card over the phone?
Absolutely.
How do you do that?
You go into the digital wallet and you click on card details, and it brings up the number, the CVV, and the expiration date, so you can use it over the phone.
So you just gotta remember that out there, which isn't the real nothing.
Right.
You just use that one.
What I prefer to use is when I'm online ordering something, I use a digital wallet, and it just does it for me. And I say, okay, go for it. If who you're dealing with accepts digital wallet, not all of them do. A car announces a new smart lock. This was at CES, which is one of the lamest shows I've seen in years. Almost nothing exciting. What is interesting is this is the first to support the Apple digital keys for your home. A feature of the iPhone is just now starting to be used is the digital keys. Some of you who go to hotels, you've used a digital key, you can put it in your wallet. Well, now with this lock, as you are walking up to the lock, it will know that who you are and will unlock the door for you without you having to do anything. It's a new protocol. Hopefully, it's going to be adopted. It uses the ultra wideband. The demonstrations of it are extremely good. Akara is a weird company that makes products that work. They're easy to set up. They actually think about the user, like how do you change batteries? On my old digital lock on the house, it took me 45 minutes to change batteries. When I got the Akara, I was all set for that. It takes me about 30 seconds. And most of that time is spent unscrewing one screw. I don't count the time putting the new batteries. Yes, sir.
I want to point out, if you're going to look this up, there's only one R in the car. AQAR. Okay. Calm.
They make really good products. The only thing they don't make that I want is a battery operated motion sensor. This one, the Whoop co-founder announces a smart toilet.
I'll make that like that. Oh, I don't know.
It is a camera which takes and examines your poop and determines if you have any problem. The toilet costs $340. A floss, $6 a month for a membership. But Barry is the one he said, we got to show this.
Well, I said it might be worth a few laughs. But let me clarify. I read the article on the announcement of this, and they did specifically mention for people who are on like Ozempic or those other weight loss drugs, because those affect your system. It can detect if you're having some kind of say side effects in your digestive system due to those drugs. There is apparently some valid reason you're getting for use of this.
Tips of the month. First tip of the month. Getting the best deals on Amazon. Since Amazon is all online, computer related, I decided this is a legitimate tip. Give you an example of what I did. See this coffee cup? This is a heated coffee cup. It retails for $99. Using what I'm talking about, I ended up getting it for $27. Let me explain to you what I did, okay? First thing, this is example one. Search for what you want. When you find it, do another search on that specific item. Copy the name of it, put it in the search box, and on Amazon, and search for that specific item. Now, there are two types of items you see in Amazon. Those that are handled by multiple vendors and those that are handled by single vendor. This technique only works on multiple vendors. Scroll down through all the examples. Normally, Amazon will show you the most expensive item in its search. I went down and all right, this $99 coffee cup, vendor had it on March special for 20% off. Okay, that brought it down to about $79, $70-some dollars. So okay, but I kept scrolling. I saw different people with different prices. I finally got the one that was 50% off. Hey, I'll take 50% off any day. That brought it down about $49. I have been doing this religiously on every purchase I make on Amazon. So far, I'm averaging 35% off. How I end up getting it is that when I put it in my shopping cart. Hey, I'm not going to fight that. And then I came up and I saw that I had a $10 credit because of my Amazon credit card on cashback. Okay, so I ended up $27. So this does work. Now, example two is a little bit different. And this one takes time. Search for what you want. When you find it, do another search on that specific item. If no good deals show up or it's a single vendor, place it in your shopping cart. If it's a high demand item, which means they're selling a lot of it, just go ahead and buy it because you're not going to get any deals. If it's a low demand item, let it sit in your shopping cart for about a week. And you just let it sit in your shopping cart. And quite often, they'll start discounting it, getting you to buy it. Now, does it work all the time? No. Does it work a lot of the time? That's my tip on shopping on Amazon.
Question.
Yes.
Do you find that if you put it in save for later, it still happens?
Yes. Because that save for later is still in the shopping cart. It just means you're not going to buy it right now. Tap and hold. Is it Barry's issue?
Me? Oh, iPhone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tap and hold for options. Go back to my home screen here. I came across this site. I subscribed to a newsletter called from iPhone Life is the location that they have a tip of the day newsletter. I knew some of this stuff, but this attracted my attention, something I could share. So I don't see my camera app here, but specifically was talking about your camera app as the point of view here. Let's see.
There it was. Below. Yeah.
There it
There
is.
we go.
Gotcha. So I'm in my app library, and in the middle here, you can see next to the Photos app, Camera app. And of course, when you tap on it, it launches the camera. And then if you want to change to video, you've got to change the video. Or if you want to change to like the selfie camera, you switch it to the selfie camera. But you can go directly to a specific kind of capture right from the icon. And you do that by tapping and holding, and you get a menu. And then you can go directly to the selfie camera, video camera, or to a portrait mode or a portrait on your selfie camera. So if one of those items is how you want to shoot, you can go directly there without having to switch once you get into the camera app. So if I wanted to take a portrait selfie, launches right into portrait mode. I'm in focus, but Mike is blurry.
It's all been blurry.
However, beyond just the camera app, try this with other apps. Tap and hold on your contacts, for instance, and you'll get a menu of items that you can choose from, or the settings app, and it will show you several probably frequently used settings in the settings app to go directly to.
A question, Barry. Didn't the institute, or there's a difference between like a light tap and then a harder tap and hold to bring it
Yeah,
down
there was a time when and they actually had a pressure sensitive sensors in the screen, and if you tapped and pushed harder, you would get a different kind of option than if you just tapped and hold. You've done away with the actual sensor that makes a difference. So it doesn't matter how hard you push. New note, new checklist. You can scan a document directly from there, record an audio. I like this. And one of the newer security things is, you notice it says require Face ID at the bottom. That's available for every app. So if you want to lock down an app on your iPhone, for instance, if you like give your iPhone to somebody to use it for some reason or other, grandchild or whatever, and you want to make sure that other people can't get into that particular app for some reason, you can put it behind your biometric locking system. If you have a Touch ID of a phone, it'll say, require Touch ID. I don't think there's very many of those left.
Well, I have an old phone.
And those
It shows up. It's not complete
old operating system. Yeah.
iPhone, but it does work on my app, by the way.
Yeah. They've had the tap and hold function for quite some time. You'll notice another one is edit home screen, and that is your basic jiggle mode where you can rearrange things or delete them from your.
And that's a lot easier than the other way, right?
Yeah, because you can also get into that just by tapping and holding the screen anywhere. It'll go to jiggle mode, but you can.
Bless you, Barry.
Yeah,
it's an art.
it's a little tricky. I usually hide most of my home screens. I have this basic home screen here, and then I actually have two other home screens full of folders, full of apps before I get to my app library. So I have them turned off, and most of the time I just search for the app that I want.
How do you
When you're in jiggle mode, the very bottom you see the little button, a little pill with 4 dots. That's telling me how many screens I actually have. And when you tap on that, a way to getting to the home screens, and you can uncheck them to hide them.
now? Can you move icons at this point?
Not right here, but if I turn them on and I want to, let's say I want, let's see, do I have room? I don't.
It'll just bump one of your.
Yeah, it'll move it out of play. Let's say I want to get to my Simple Note app here. I'm going to pull it out of this folder, and if I want it on my main screen, I have to go to the left and go all the way back over to my first screen. And what that does, since it was already full, it's going to bump one, got moved to the next screen, and then those folders got moved over, and now
How you do that? Yeah, I can see is that you have to, one finger is holding the icon down, and you use another finger to slide. Two finger operation.
well, I do it with one finger, but yeah, you can flip from page to page with another finger.
What I saw you do, Harry, was came up to the edge of the screen, and then you bounced a little bit, and then you came back up to the edge of the screen, and then it moved. So you see what he's doing?
So it's a little tricky at the feel where you're going with it.
To be kept very strictly.
Yeah.
It's a bit tricky even for all of us.
Yeah, they used to back in the early days when you had this your Mac via iTunes, but apps and stuff, they gave you an editing mode of your home screen right on your computer screen, and that was so much simpler.
Right. And Windows still has that. Windows still has iTunes.
I might have
At
to
least
get a
part of
Windows 11 machine just for that.
Yeah.
Tap to hold and a little extra on changing your app icon.
Okay. Mac OS tip of the month. Spotlight. Oh yeah.
It's a new year. So I went back to look at another new feature in macOS Tahoe. So one of the things everybody's probably familiar with the whole idea after years and years and years of copy and paste. Let me up so we can see it better. Where you select some text. I'm just using text as an example, but and then you can copy it. You can several ways of copying it. You got a textual menu. You can go edit menu, copy, or you use a keyboard shortcut, Command C on the Mac, Control C and Windows. And then, of course, then you go down, like in a different place, and you add V or Control V or from the contextual menu. So copying and pasting. And the way that works is, of course, there's this invisible in between called the clipboard, where whatever you copy or cut goes onto the clipboard, and then you paste it, and it goes on to whatever your target is, but it stays on the clipboard until you copy or paste something else and that gets replaced. And after you do a number of copies and pastes and copies and pastes, everything you've done in the past is no longer on your clipboard. There's been a category of utilities for years give you a saved clipboard or ubiquitous clipboard history that you can go back and find something that you've copied previously and reuse it again. Several different kinds of scenarios where this might come in handy, but beyond that, in macOS Tahoe, Apple introduced a clipboard history function. Finally, after what is this? How many years since macOS was 2002? So 23 years of macOS 10, and I don't know how many more years prior to that with classic Mac operating system going back to 1984, where we only had one thing on the clipboard at a time. So it's fairly simple with a few options. It doesn't, and there's a lot of utilities that give you a lot more features, but it's a great new feature for almost everyone at the basic level. And I'm first going to show you in system settings how you set this up or how you find the option. I got to remember where it was. Yes, right. That's right. So yeah, they added the clipboard history to the spotlight. And so if you go to system settings spotlight and scroll all the way down to the bottom of the settings, you got this results from clipboard function. And I have it turned on here. It's turned on by default when you upgrade to Tahoe, but you can turn it off if you just don't care or don't need it. And then initially, they gave you an 8-hour window. So it would save everything you copied or cut for 8 hours, and then it would go back to 0. I think it was 26.1. They added 2 other options. You can go even a shorter period of time, 30 minutes, things useless to me, or a whole week, barely enough. Only I have a clipboard utility that I use, and it just keeps it until I restart the computer. Well, sometimes I can go back, depending on when I restart, I can go back and recover something that I copied and think about, oh, well, I did copy that somewhere. Where is it? And so I can search but 7 days is probably pretty good for most people. I like to keep the system level at 7 days. And the way you get to history is to use the spotlight. In the menu bar, there's a little magnifying glass icon, that's spotlight, that brings up the spotlight search. You can also do command space on the keyboard, and it brings up just generic search. But there are 4 other narrowed down. Well, if you do command space, I had mine mapped to a different key, so mine's actually control space. I'm like, if you move the mouse, it will show you the 4 other buttons, or if you hover over it, you'll notice that it gives you a keyboard shortcut. Once Spotlight's up, If you want to search just for applications on your system, you can do Command 1. And Command 2 will just search for files on your computer rather than, see, if you just type into a general Spotlight search, it'll search for everything everywhere, including the web, give you web result. Command 3 is shortcut actions, which are built into the system now into Spotlight. We won't talk about that now. It's a little bit kind of automation stuff, maybe later. And Command 4 is the clipboard. This is Mac OS. Yeah, Spotlight on iOS and iPad it works differently. I mean, it still searches, but it doesn't have these other things. So you'll notice it says no items because I turned it off and turned it on in system settings. I'd already had some things copied there, but so let's do some things here. Let's copy a line here. I'll copy this line, doing Command C, and I'll copy, kind of whatever I can do to show it. So if I bring back Spotlight, do Command 4, now I have 2 items. If I were to paste without going to this, it would do this top one. It always puts the latest one at the top of the list. But if I wanted to paste the first one I copied and bring up this history, and then I select that one, and it will, since I have something selected on my screen, it will actually replace what I had selected. Or I could have clicked in a different place and put it on a different line. So this could come in handy. For instance, like you were composing an email and you wanted to share to our website, so the user group and the Google group mailing it, both in the same email. You could go to Safari and you could go to our web page and you could copy that address, and then you could go to the Google group page and get the URL for that. You could copy that one. Then when you go to an email, just gonna pretend this is an email message, and now I want to copy or paste them both, and I can do them both at the same time rather than going back and forth from one app to another app. So I can copy that one or paste that one in, put a new line in, go back to that, and paste the other one. So it can be a little productivity enhancement to have a history of the things you've copied or cut, but just go and just paste them all at the same time rather than going back and forth.
The hardest thing about this is remembering it's there.
Yes, remembering to use it. So yeah, it's a muscle that has to be exercised. You have to kind of,
Fine presentation. Any questions for Barry? Are you done?
yeah, I say,
Any questions for Barry on this? Okay. I learned a lot on that. I did not know about the keyboard shortcuts. Barry. Okay. Windows. Winged.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mike McLean, and today I want to talk with you about a handy little command line program that comes with Windows called Winget. Several years ago, there was a nice little software program that would automatically scan your system for outdated drivers and program updates, and it would go ahead and automatically notify you that you could go ahead and update your software. Unfortunately, that software went away a few years ago, but Winget, which, as I said, already comes with Windows, is a very nice alternative for that. It is a command line driven program, so in order to get to it, you have to go ahead and go down to your search
It's
bar
10
here
o'clock.
and type in CMD. That brings up a window for a command prompt. I'll go ahead and click that. And here's a command window. In order to look at Winget, I'll just type in WIN, if I can type in properly, GET. And without any arguments, it gives you a help screen that tells you what some of the things there you can do. This is a software package manager. And as such, you can use it for a lot of things. If you've used Linux at all, you'll be familiar with the concept. Linux depends heavily on package managers. This one, all I'm interested in is the ability to upgrade. We see here the option upgrade shows and performs available upgrades. If I just type in Winget upgrade, it scans my system and it shows me the programs that it's found that has upgrades available for it. Okay, I see I have several things that are available, so I'm going to go ahead and type in, once again, Winget upgrade -- all. And it's thinking, okay, it's finding it. It has found the first program. It is downloading it. Wants permissions. Yes, I should have run this in administrator mode in the command line and the command window. And here goes after the second one, downloading it, asking for permissions. Yes, and while it's doing that, I'm going to pause this recording so we don't have to watch all this at the moment. That took several minutes. It has finished installing. I had one error, which I'll have to go back and figure out what's going on with that. And it tells me that 16 packages have version numbers that cannot be determined, and use the call include unknown to see all results. So a little later on, I'll have to do a little bit of research and see exactly what that's all about. Meantime, let me just go ahead and do WinGet upgrade again and see if it missed anything else. And just that one from SanDisk that I have to see exactly what it was trying to do. I was trying to actually do an uninstall routine first. And it's something that came with the system, so I'm a little leery of letting it run amok without actually knowing what it's doing. One other thing I will mention is I got a lot of window prompts for admin access. I should have gone ahead and run this command window as an administrator. And in order to do that, I'm going to close that window out, go back down to my search bar and type in CMD again. And you see, then I have an option to run as administrator. If I tell it to do that, it'll ask me, I'm running an administrator account, so just ask if I want to do this. I'll say yes. Otherwise, you'd actually have to use the administrator password, and here it is. So now if I was to run that, I wouldn't get all those prompts for authorization. And that is how you run WinGet under Windows. Again, this is Mike McLean, and be seeing you.
Okay, questions for Mike on WinGet. Share a favorite. This one I thought was very apropos for today's media. ChatGPT OpenAI introduced a web browser that has ChatGPT built into it. It's a new kind of browser. Think of it as a search engine on steroids. Okay, and you ask it a question, and not only do you get the answer, but it goes out of the web and brings in things and gives it to you in a readable format.
In what format?
Readable. Okay. Rather than just getting a whole list of URLs, it actually answers your question and shows it to you. It does take some time to get used to. I'll tell you that right now. I've been playing with it for over a month now, and I'm just now getting to the point where I'm getting comfortable with it. Am I going to switch it to my full-time browser? Probably not. Do I use it a lot? I'll show you how I used it. So let's go over to ChatGPT Atlas. That's the icon right there. What I wanted, looking for examples, I said, examples of AI-generated eye photos where shadows are not correct. So it went out, did the search of the web, and put together for me a readable document answering my question, which I think is a lot better than if we go, let's do the same search and go over to Safari. The same search in Safari and see what it returns. And this is what I got, okay? Because I'm using DuckDuckGo, it has an AI generator, something like ChatGPT. Instead of a nice readable document with all kinds of information, I just listen to the URL. As opposed to, which is the actual document, there is an imagery. I did the same thing. I got a real nice document, and it helped me put together this month's presentation. So rather than wasting all of my time going through those examples, I had a basis for doing it. Any questions on ChatGPT Atlas? Question and answer period. And I have a question and the answer to it. One of the news items I forgot to put in, because I only read it this morning, is Microsoft for Copilot. Microsoft is trying to force everybody to use Copilot for everything. Something they just announced, as far as I know, it's just announced, is that it is Copilots. It's not been introduced yet, but it's coming. You'll be able to use Copilot to go up and make a purchase at designated sites, Amazon being one of them. So let's say that you want to buy a canopy maker off of Amazon. You say, I would like to buy a canopy maker off of Amazon. It'll go up through the different options. And you say, I want, that one, and it'll make the purchase for you. You don't have to do anything. From what I was reading, is where there's a lot of controversy about that because they don't trust security Copilot. Mike, do you hear anything of that?
Not on that. Microsoft is busily rolling everything into Copilot. A couple of days ago, go up to office.com. It now has an announcement. Welcome to the old Office. This is now a Microsoft Copilot app. They are actually rebranding off to Microsoft Copilot. It still has all the apps with it, but underneath it. They want Copilot, tie it all together.
Any other questions? Well, it is now time for our break. Okay, now for our feature presentation today. What can we trust diving down the AI rabbit hole? We are going to be following this white rabbit with a big clock down a rabbit hole. How to detect deep fakes. Now, I have a short video. It's about 10 minutes long. Yes, I could have made this presentation, but this guy does a much better job. So sit back.
We have systems now that detect AI text, AI audio, AI images, AI video. Give us the nuts and bolts of how you detect these fakes.
So what you have to understand about generative AI deepfakes is that it is fundamentally learning how to generate images, audio, and video by looking at patterns in billions and billions of images, audio, and video.
Okay.
But it doesn't know what a lens is. It doesn't know what the physics of the world is. It doesn't know about geometry. It doesn't know about the physical world. It's not recreating thing that you and I are in right now.
Right.
Take any image outdoors. Sunny day here in Virginia. Go outdoors, and because the sun is shining, you will see shadows all over the place.
Yeah.
And those shadows have to follow a very specific law of physics, which is that there's a single dominant light source, sun, and it is giving rise to all those shadows.
Right.
So we have geometric techniques that can say, given a point on the shadow and the part of the object that is casting it, tell me where the light is that's consistent with that. And we can do that not once, not twice, not 3 times, but as many times for shadows that we find.
For every shadow in the
Every shadow. And if we find that they are not converging on a single light source, the sun, then we have a physically implausible scene. Yeah.
It seems like
So-
that will be easy for AI to figure out and do.
You would think, but here's why I can't. Because what I described to you is a 3-dimensional process. That's happening in the 3-dimensional world. But the AI lives in 2D. It lives in a 2-dimensional world. And reasoning about the 3-dimensional world is not something it does. Now, it can sort of fake it pretty well, the way artists fake it.
Right.
Right? Lots of things in paintings are not physically plausible, but our visual system doesn't really care. We're looking at a pretty picture. So that's one of my favorite techniques. Here's another one that I love. Go outside and, well, you shouldn't actually do this, but stand on the railroad tracks. I don't actually advise doing that. I did this the other day with one of my students. I'm like, what are you doing standing on the railroad tracks? I wanted to take a picture of railroad tracks. And the reason I wanted to take a picture of railroad tracks is that when you're standing on the railroad tracks, those railroad tracks, of course, are parallel in the physical world, and they remain parallel as long as the track continues going. But if you take a picture of it, those train tracks will converge to what's called a vanishing point. This is a notion that Renaissance painters have understood for hundreds of years. And why is that? It's because when you photograph something, the size on the image sensor is inversely proportional to how far it is from me. So as the train tracks recede, it looks like they're converging.
Right.
This is called projective geometry, a vanishing point.
Yeah.
It's a very specific geometry. And this is true of the parallel lines on the top and bottom of a window, on the sides of a building, on a sidewalk, anything that you have a flat surface like this table that we're at.
Right.
Take a photo of this table, and all these parallel lines will converge to a vanishing point.
Right.
So we can make those measurements in an image, and when we find deviations of that, something is physically implausible. The image is violating geometry. Okay? All right, let me move to a sort of different side of it. This is actually one of my favorite techniques, is when you go to your favorite AI system and you ask it to make an image, it will create all the pixels, but then it has to bundle it up into a JPEG image or a PNG image or some format.
Right.
And it actually does that in a very specific way. And so here's an analogy. When I buy something from an online retailer, there's the product I get, but that product is also packaged in a box.
Yes.
And different retailers have different ways of doing it. Apple has a very specific way of doing beautiful packaging, right? Other retailers, just shove it in a box and send it off. So the packaging, when I create an image on OpenAI or on Anthropic or on Midjourney, all these different generators, they package it up differently. And it's different than the way my phone packages up the pixels. And it's different than the way Photoshop packages up the pixels. So when we get an image or an audio or video for that matter, we can look at the underlying package and saying, is this a packaging that is consistent with OpenAI or Anthropic or a camera or whatever it is? And
So it doesn't have package emulators?
it does not. It doesn't know about it because it doesn't care. Why would you care about it? I'm the only person in the world who probably cares about this. You certainly don't care how it's packaged, because what do? You open the package, you throw it away, and you got your product.
That's right.
The image.
Yeah.
Right? So we can look at the packaging.
Yeah.
There's a whole other set of techniques so everything I've described is sort of after the fact.
Right.
Right? You wait for the content to land on your desk and you start doing these analyses. Right? There's a whole other set of techniques that are what are called active techniques. So Google recently announced that every single piece of content that comes from their generators, image, audio, or video, will have what's called an imperceptible watermark. So think, we don't use currency that much anymore, but take your $20 bill out of your wallet and hold it up to the light, and you'll see all kinds of watermarks that prevent or make it very difficult to counterfeit.
Yeah.
So what Google has done is they have inserted an invisible watermark into images, audio, and video at the point of creation that says, we made this.
Yeah.
And then when I get that piece of content, I have a specialized piece of software, because we over at Get Real have a relationship with Google, that says, is there a watermark in there? It's a signal, and you can't see it. Right? And the adversary can't see it, but I can see it.
Right.
So that's really cool. And by the way, if this comes into the phone, so if Apple decides we're going to watermark every single piece of content that is natural, I've got a signal that is built in, right? So we've got lots of different techniques, from things that we rely on third parties like the Googles of the world,
Right.
to measurements that we can make in an image, a video, or an audio. I'll give you one of my favorite audio ones, by the way. So if you're listening to this, you won't be able to see us, but if you're watching this on YouTube, you will know we're in a really nice studio.
Yeah.
And there are soft walls around us, and we have really nice microphones. And so the amount of reverberation
Yeah.
that you hear is quite minimal. This audio is going to sound really good because you guys are pros here, right? But the amount of reverberation is dependent on the physical geometry around us, how hard those surfaces are.
Right.
And that should be fairly consistent over an audio.
Right.
But what you see with AI generation is you see inconsistencies in the microphone and the reverberation, because it's not physically recording these things.
So
It's
even
synthesizing.
in a single recording,
you'll see
get those
modulations that are quote unquote unnatural.
Yeah.
So a lot of what we do is look for patterns you expect to see that mimic the physical world.
Right.
Okay? Now, and then I talked about the active techniques, the watermarking. And then there's a whole other set of techniques that I'm going to talk about a little, but not a lot, and you'll understand in a minute why not. So the other side of what we do is we try to understand the tools that our adversary uses. So if you're using an OpenAI or Anthropic or some open source code, we actually go into well, we can't do this for OpenAI, but for anything that's open source. So there's so-called face swap deep fakes, where you can take somebody's face, eyebrow to chin, cheek to cheek, and replace it with another face. And these are all open source libraries. We can dig into the code, and we can see, okay, what are they doing? All right, the first thing they're doing is this, and then they do this, and then they do this, and then they do this. And then we'll say, that second step should introduce a very specific artifact. So I'll give you one example, but not more than one. So one of the things that a lot of these swap faces do is they put a square bounding box around the face. They pull the face off, they synthesize a new face, and then they put it back. But when they put it back, it's with a bounding box.
Right.
And they do it very well.
Yeah.
You can't see it, but we know how to go into the video and discover that bounding box that was there. All right, so that's an example where we reverse engineering, because we understand how the adversary has made something. Now, we have lots of other ones which I don't want to tell you about.
Yes, I understand why.
Yeah, you can see now, because it's adversarial.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Man, it sounds very systematic. I have a decent understanding now of if I want to make a lab to do this.
Yeah.
Some techniques to do it. But, the average person out there isn't a scientist. How can my mother identify real from the fake in the world of AI?
Yeah, they can't. And this is the reality of where we are right now. And this is important to understand, because I don't want you to walk away from this podcast thinking, okay, I understand a little bit now. Now when I'm scrolling through, X or Blue Sky or Facebook or Instagram, I'm going to be able to tell. You won't. You won't be able to tell. And even if I could tell you something today that was reliable, 6 weeks from now, it will not be reliable, and you'll have a false sense of security. So I get this question a lot. And the thing you have to understand is this is a hard job. It is really hard to do this, and it's constantly changing. And the average person doom scrolling on social media cannot do this reliably. Can't do it reliably. I can barely do it reliably, and this is what I do for a living.
I'm going to say right now, I disagree. There's a certain feeling that comes off of AI generated things. It feels contrived, and I imagine it could be a human, but there's something inside of me that goes, what's wrong with this?
No, it'd be uncanny valley. It's a concept that simulations get really close to looking right, but there's just something that we are.
And that happens to me, and I just know that now I know what to call it. AI. Or not what I think it is.
That is true today. That
Heard him.
Yeah. It may not be true. Now, the one thing you did talk about that is really important is adding these watermarks into AI generated. That is going to help. So let's move along. What we're going to do now is go through spotting AI generated media. This is not foolproof. This is to show you what you can look for. Okay, I don't know why that second one is down there. It shouldn't be there. How to identify AI created photos, audio, and articles. That's what we're going to take a look at. Why this matters. AI media is very realistic now. It can spread misinformation. The tools are imperfect for both creating and spotting. If you know what to look for, you might be able to spot it. Photos. real versus AI. The one on the left is real. The one on the right is fake. And you can take a look at those tools are not generated correctly. That is the biggest thing to look for. As AI gets better, and you saw they go out and they start sampling billions. And Maureen, this answers the question you had last month about I generate something, a paper, a proposal. What can I do to keep it from being used by an AI generator? Yours will be one of billions. So the probability of that intact ending up on something is very, very low. Could it resemble it? Because there's only certain ways of doing certain things. So yeah, it may resemble it, but it won't be yours. But you can tell that there's distortion. It doesn't yield it correctly. Now, is this getting better? As a matter of fact, I can tell you right now in my search, it was hard to find examples of AI screwing up. It's getting harder and harder. Hands. AI has trouble doing hands. A year ago, this was it's getting better and better and better to the point where it's very hard to know, is this real or fake? The hands still are probably your best bet to look at. It's getting better and better. Is text. A year ago, this was very, very true. AI could not generate realistic text. It didn't understand words. Less often than I'm seeing text get messed up. Does it still happen? But is it getting it right sometimes? But that's something else to look for. Yes, ma'am.
Isn't it also, when you come to text, it's translating how many languages? Does that, wouldn't that add up the impact? Potentially?
It right now the AI generators be generating visuals and photos don't know words. They're putting together letters because an image is not a textual document. So it is putting letters on the screen. As it gets more sophisticated, that's going to change. Now, the big one, shadows. This is a dead giveaway, even still. If the shadows are wrong, if there are multiple castings, as you can see in this is a great example of screwed up shadows. That's the dead giveaway. Because you notice the man in the background has no shadow. Well, he should have a shadow based upon the dog on the ball, but he doesn't. The dog on the ball's got two different shadows from two different light sources, both of them appearing to be, pardon?
No shadow is just wrong.
Yeah,
You just look at the first thing I saw is that shadow doesn't match them.
not at all. Okay. And you take a look over on the right-hand side, those shadows being cast, that makes no sense at all. That's a dead giveaway. Now, in this particular example, you see how the buildings are coming together in the background? That's called vanishing point. In this particular example, the vanishing point is almost correct. To the normal viewer, unless you're an artist or a photographer who understands vanishing point, you would not notice it. Barry, you're an artist. Did you notice the vanishing point screw up?
There's something wrong in the back right.
On this one, I didn't really look at it that closely for vanishing point. No.
Unless the building is actually up.
Well, it looks like it's curved.
The buildings on the right have a different vanishing point vertex than the ones on the left. They meet at two different points. Vanishing point, they have to meet at the exact same location.
It actually indicates that on the right side of the dog, the road widens and then narrows.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you weren't looking for that, you wouldn't notice it. You have to look at every image now is there something wrong with this image?
Well, I guess it depends on what you're looking at the image for.
Yes.
What's the value? What's the end result value?
Right. Now, here's background objects. And this is once again perspective, vanishing point. The one on the left is correct. That's the correct vanishing point. The one on the right is seriously flawed. Now, you may not notice that unless you're looking for it or that you knew something about vanishing point. You would think that was a real photo. In the context, you may not care if it's real or not. Any questions so far? Because we were transitioning off of photos. Oh, one more. Oh, yeah. Here's a real good example of what happens with backgrounds with AI.
It's fun. Actually, that would be a fun piece of art.
Now, this is happening less and less. A year ago, this was not uncommon at all. Today, I'm seeing it less, especially with Nano Banana, which is the image generator from Google. It is so close to being flawless, it's scary. And it does an incredible job. Have you used it yet, Barry? Photoshop? And their video generator, which does an incredible job. And these are the things we'll be looking at. Here we go. Is this real or fake? If it's fake, why is it fake? This is an actual picture out of an advertisement for senior Tai Chi.
They don't match the bodies and skin. Body, skin, and hair don't match what's being stated.
Exactly.
It's a great example.
Now, This man is in his 60s. Look at the texture of the skin on his face. Now look at his body. That's a body of about a 20-year-old. They don't match at all. What's interesting is on these ads, down on the bottom in very, very tiny print that you can barely see, it says these images were AI generated for marketing purposes and actual results may vary. Let's take a look at another one.
Fit something.
Yeah.
They had a number of products.
Body head don't match. Left hand is wrong. Look at his left hand. It's not right. The skin on the face does not match the body. Now, is this real or fake?
Murdered. Something about the head, it feels wrong. Something about the seven. Yeah, that combination. And it could be lighting. So
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
something feels wrong about it, but just
The lighting looks inconsistent, but also in context. Like on a stage, you would have multiple sources of light.
Okay, the fingers don't look right. Okay, especially the little finger on the right hand.
yeah.
And her index finger looks like the tip of it's bent a little bit.
And the shadows are a little inconsistent, but that could be the lighting from the stage.
But her tummy is so dark too. Just yeah, there's just it's kind of like the old guy exercise.
Can't get that to stay on.
It's you're glowing wrong.
Yeah.
That it's kind of what I want to say. You're glowing wrong.
But I can't tell you for sure that it is fake. And I can't tell you for sure that it's not fake.
Because lighting, again, lighting could make those as suggestions, or lighting could just really mess it up.
I sat and stared at this one for about an hour trying to figure out, is it real or fake? My guess is, based upon the context of the ad and everything else that was in it,
We agree. Yeah.
audio, human versus AI. This was the toughest thing about this presentation, is to get bad examples of AI generated audio. Now, I'm going to play some examples for you. All the examples I'm going to play for you are AI generated. The key is human voices breathe and vary. AI may not. AI voices are very smooth and flat. Pause placement, emotion, and names. So let's take a look at some examples.
Listen for pronunciation inconsistencies, because what I may notice is that all of a sudden you sound Canadian. Pronounce two words that sounded like a Canadian, and before that you were sounding like an American. That's one of the ways that I
Beyond the obvious facts that he has at some time done manual labor, that he takes snuff, that he's a Freemason, that he has been in China, and that he has done a considerable amount of writing lately, Sherlock Holmes's quick eye took in my occupation, and he shook his head with a smile as he noticed my questioning glances.
This is the AI generated version of that same thing.
Beyond the obvious facts that he has at some time done manual labor, that he takes snuff, that he is a Freemason, that he has been in China, and that he has done a considerable amount of writing lately, Sherlock Holmes's quick eye took in my occupation.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Good. It sounded. I heard the commas better.
Yes. I was thinking that.
I heard the commas much more distinctly in the second one.
In my occupation, and he shook his head with a smile as he noticed my questioning glances. Beyond the obvious facts that he has at some time done manual labor, that he takes snuff, that he is a free.
It is because the first one had she ended her words a little differently. If you heard that, I heard two different words she ended, like on a high note.
Okay, now let's take a look at video. Any questions on audio? Audio is really, that's why if you hear just like a podcast of somebody, don't trust it, because I've seen like ones of AOC, President Trump, of them saying something completely opposite of what they say, and I could not distinguish it, especially the one on AOC where she was admitting that Trump was correct on everything. Well, I knew they had to be fake because she would never say that, but it sounded just like her. The introduction to the video AI portion didn't record, so I'm going to give you an explanation of what's going on. I selected a YouTube video on video AI examples that is better than anything I could. So sit back, relax, and watch it.
That are crazy. Now, before I show you these, I just need you to keep this in mind. You're about to watch a bunch of AI-generated videos, and you know that you're about to watch a bunch of AI-generated content. So your brain, you're already looking for this stuff, and it's not perfect. You will find imperfections, but not everybody who sees AI-generated content on the internet knows to be looking for that. So also keep that in mind. This is also the worst that this technology is going to be from here on out. So, okay, here's one of the videos. There's no audio to any of these clips, but the prompt for this one is a stylish woman walks down a Tokyo street filled with warm, glowing neon and animated city signage. She wears a black leather jacket, a long red dress, and black boots. This video is already miles ahead of where we were. It has accurate lighting, it has materials, it has skin tones, movements, even has reflections all over the place. Now, of course, if you look at it for more than about 10 seconds very closely, there are lots of giveaways. Like this dude in the background kind of looks like he's gliding in a weird way. The frame rates and the reflections in the water are for some reason lower than the rest of the video. The camera movement overall is just a bit inconsistent, and it just, I don't know, it just kind of feels a little bit off. But then again, this is where we were 1 year ago. So just keep that in the back of your head for all this. Okay, how about this one? This is another one which has a long prompt about a camera following behind a white vintage SUV with a black roof rack as it speeds up a steep dirt road. This is also, again, really good. It kind of looks a little more video gamey because of how rock solid the drone footage is, but clearly very usable. Here's another one, a litter of golden retriever puppies playing in the snow. Their heads pop in and out of the snow, covered in it. It's so good. It feels like the physics of the fur and the ears and everything with the snow flying around in slow motion is incredible. I've looked through all of the sample videos on OpenAI's website, and clearly these are the hand-picked best ones that they chose to share, where they just put in some text and then get a video and don't modify it. But there's really impressive stuff in there. Some of it has humans, some of it doesn't. Some of it is more realistic feeling, like the truck driving one, but some of them are more video gamey or more stylized. A lot of it is slow motion. This video here is crazy at first glance. The prompt for this AI-generated video is a young man in his 20s is sitting on a piece of a cloud in the sky reading a book. This one feels like 90% of the way there for me. Like it's beyond the uncanny valley of like Apple's personas, which are actually based on humans. This is a made-up person. I mean, his eyes are kind of weird, and the motion of the pages in the book are kind of odd. And yeah, obviously he's in a cloud, and that's a giveaway, but like the lighting and the shadows and the skin tones, and then all the realism of the textures on the shirt and the way the shirt and the pants move and the hair, they're all really impressive. And then for this one, they typed in a movie trailer featuring the adventurers of the 30-year-old spaceman wearing a red wool knitted motorcycle helmet, blue sky, salt desert, cinematic style, shot on 35mm film. And the close-ups of his face, the fabrics on the helmet, the film grain through every shot, and the cinematic style, this is one of the most convincing AI-generated videos I've ever seen. Minus maybe the weird physics of that dude walking kind of in fast motion. And just try to think like, I wonder what birthday she's celebrating, right? I don't know. How old do you think she is? 60? 65? Maybe it's the big 7-0? She seems to really like that cake. Now, did you see it? Did you catch that? I'm gonna play it again, but this time watch the video knowing that AI-generated photos and videos have trouble accurately doing hands. I'll play it again. And now it feels super obvious. Like every time you watch it, watch a different set of hands. It gets weirder and weirder. You can watch it like 5 times and there's dead giveaway after dead giveaway. Not even mentioning the weird inconsistencies with the direction of the wind on the candles.
That's the first thing I saw was the candles. Yeah.
Okay.
So
And when she blew, then the candles flickered.
before the moonwalk one moonwalk or helmet thing, the guy's forearm was bigger than his bicep.
I mean, it's just has Popeye disease.
Okay, we skipped over this. Real video is stable. AI video can flicker or drift, which means it kind of waves. We saw some of that. Yes.
The other thing I noticed on the girl walking down the Tokyo street was like compression artifacts or halo around her head as she was moving through the environment. And I've seen that in other AI generated.
Would you have noticed that if you weren't looking for it?
I don't know.
Oh, the first thing that jumped out at me was when it first started, and they had a crowd behind her. It looked like the whole crowd was standing there and all stepped off at the same time.
Yeah.
It looked like an arm of robots until hey, got some variation going.
And her hair, when she moved as a unit, the whole unit moved rather than like as a wave.
But it's better.
It's scary.
This is the worst it's going to be, right?
I mean, a year ago, You saw what the one with Will Smith a year ago. In 1 year, this is how far we've advanced. What's going to happen in the next year? We'll talk about that at the very end.
When you started this, you mentioned an app store, going to look at it, and then I started listening to you and forgot what you said.
No.
Yeah, it's not an app. It's a website.
You just do it through the Google's website.
Thank you, thank you.
Look at the edges, the motion, and shadows of video. Humans. Oh, articles. Okay, that was the end of the one on video. Articles, human versus AI. Any questions on video?
Is Sora AI generated? Because so on face
That's an engine, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
it's visual. It is.
It's a nerdy.
It's called the video generator. It's called Sora.
Oh, yeah.
Because on Facebook, you're on Reels, which are the live free entertainment.
Sometimes.
Yeah. But they'll on many of them, they will automatically put Sora.
SORA.
Yes.
Assume that all the reels on Facebook, TikTok, and any place else in social media are fake.
oh X is using Grok now,
Yeah.
and you heard about that the last couple of days.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's found out that Grok is really good at taking photos of people that have been uploaded and creating deepfake nudes of them, of anybody. And as of yesterday, Elon Musk's reaction to that was, okay, we fixed it so that now only people that are subscribing to us can make deepfake nudes.
And going back to tech news, I just read this morning, and I forgot I was going to bring it up and add it to so you could add it. A couple of senators, Ron Wyden from Oregon, and I forgot the other one, have written Apple and Google letters asking them to take X and Grok apps off the App Store because of child pornography, because of this issue. I don't know. The companies haven't responded to it yet.
Okay. Articles written. Human versus AI. Humans write personally. You will not, unless you write something and give it to it to rewrite it. If it generates it itself, it will not be a personal letter. It has nothing to base it on. That's pretty much dead giveaway. Where AI fakes it up is rewritten. If you feed an AI generator something you've written and tell it to rewrite it, especially when we took a look last month at writing tools. Writing tools goes in and looks at my writing style and uses my writing style to generate rewrites.
I find I can do rewrites with AI. We've tried to use it for content building. It
Good review.
it just really requires a lot of work to. It's great for organization or structural layout, but man, it's got no feel.
And yeah, of course.
It doesn't have flavor, actually. There's no spices sprinkled through it.
Feel creative.
No butter. You can't tell the difference between butter, olive oil, or it's
In articles, AI generator will have vague openings, repetition, and no storyline unless you feed it one. In today's world, it's generic and no lived experience. If you take a look at your writing, if you write, especially personal, you'll put in experiences of your life. If I tell an AI generator to write a personal letter about X, it'll be generic. They have no basis for it. Okay.
so. Someone told me that their experience of Claude is what they call it, is more feeling human. But
It's getting there.
is there any of them that seem to be more oriented to that, to just solving this problem of how they produce?
Not directly. They're getting better at it. Like when I use ChatGPT, its engine is getting more human-like in its responses to it. It almost feels like I'm carrying on a conversation with a person.
Well, and when I was listening to an AI company president describe what you need to do in order to get it, to sound like you like have to pretty much tell it your whole story, describe the pains and suffering that you've had in your life, or the highs and the lows. You have to really
It has to be trained.
you practically have to do a really strong dynamic bio of yourself.
Same thing you'd have to do if you had an actor who's going to impersonate you on stage.
Like that. Like that.
That's how it is. Now, are they getting better? Are they duplicates of? Can they duplicate a human? No. They're very good at rewriting stuff, composing stuff. Now, let's talk about their detection tools. There are tools that you can get. Most of them are not in our price range. But used by professional for image, audio, video, and text tools. They do exist. They are expensive. The one for audio, I forget what it's called, that it's over $1,000. And it goes in and analyzes the audio, determine if it is in fact real or fake. The ones for video, I did not write a specific tool for that. I do know they exist. I know the FBI uses them. I know that law enforcement agencies use them to determine if video, especially surveillance video, is the AI generated. Now, that one is actually pretty easy because surveillance video is always terrible. AI generated surveillance video is really good. That is the best depiction. You know it. Limits of detection. Unfortunately, we have a lot of false positives that you'll be told something is and it is fake, or something is fake and it's not.
I've been reading, I follow a lot of the Reddits on professors and when they're dealing with that. One thing they found is that students who are really good at formal writing, they tend to get tagged as AI of their level. Also, people who have English as a second language tend to get tagged because they write at a more formal level.
Yes, and most. One thing, editing, whether the editing audio, video, photographic, or text, you can edit it, you can hide all the mistakes. You can go in and crawl out hands, or don't let the falseness. You can go in and fix perspective, make it right. Now, the one we saw, the perspective being out of the dog, that would be hard, not impossible. It would take me probably about 3 minutes to an hour. That I could get it so you could not tell what's fake. Can people spot edited stuff? If you are very good, I can spot my editing to heart. I can spot most other people's editing of photographs, but not all. Sometimes I have to look as I can't tell if it had it or not. It's the tool, as the models improve, new tools are going to have to be generated. As the models, by their very nature, are going to learn what it is that they're doing wrong and correct it. We live in very interesting time.
How did you get ChatGPT to speak out loud, fire off a question or statement to ChatGPT and wait for the response from AI assistant? After long pressing and the response, a menu will appear. Tap on read aloud.
Okay.
That's the free version.
Yeah. Oh, good. Ethical questions. First thing is, just because it can be done does not mean it should be done. Now, one of the things that one of my sore points is AI emulating actual people. I think that is wrong. And I'm going to show you an example of real people being emulated. We're not being compensated. If permission was not asked, and let's take a look at it.
It's like one of my biggest concerns that you get my face.
Hey! Picard stands firm on the starlit deck, sipping his tea Earl Grey hot. He lifts his mug as he feels the rage, then shouts to crew, set sail, engage! Raise up the sails and make it yo-ho! We plunder stars where the wild winds blow. Treasure and rum in the cosmic flow, all hands aboard as we onward go. Riker leaps down with his leg up high, swinging through rigging across the sky. Flirts with a mermaid of space below, then steals her pearls with a sly yo-ho! Raise up the sails and make it yo-ho! We plunder stars where the wild winds blow. Treasure and rum in the cosmic flow, all hands aboard as we onward go. Worf drinks Prunum from a mighty keg, Growlin headbutting ships to shreds. Today's good day for a fight, he rolls and breaks the mast with his skull once more. Data shines bright with his brass gold frame, asks why do pirates enjoy this game? Geordi just sighs, it's the life we know, now pass that rope and quit asking yo. Raise up up the sails and make it yo-ho. We plunder stars where the wild winds blow. Treasure and rum in the cosmic flow. All hands aboard as we onward go. Through cosmic storms and the blackest night, we chase down Klingons with pure delight. Q snaps his fingers to mock our show, but we sail on with a bold make it yo-ho.
They ski. Their face loses its.
What? The lips weren't synced here.
Yeah. Actual jaw.
Did you notice? And Jordy was drinking out of the bottle, and none of it was coming down the neck of the bottle into his mouth.
Not. We know it's AI generated. Yeah, no. The important part was those were real people we shot. Did you notice Picard, Whoopi Goldberg, all of them were real people and they looked real. Right? Especially Whoopi Goldberg. That was incredible on her.
And
She was younger.
until she started moving her face, and then it didn't look like her. Oh, that's what I mean on each of them. When they actually started to mash the wording, they moved their mouth.
Was there any doubt in your mind who that was supposed to be?
No, yeah, no.
Okay. But who got paid for it? You're getting revenue off of that.
Kind of like iTunes and music.
Right.
Yeah. Nobody is getting, you're not getting compensated for it. And that's wrong. Did they give their permission?
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't know. Yeah.
We don't need to pay actors to make movies anymore. This is great.
I come up with a possible solution to this. That is, I know it's going to be a little hard for you to read, so I will read it aloud to you. No individual, living or deceased, shall be depicted in a lifelike manner in any form of media without explicit permission from the persona. Any individual, the requester must obtain written notarized permission from the person at their expense. This permission must be maintained for the duration of the copyright of each individual use. For a deceased individual, the requester must obtain written notarized petition from the estate at their expense. This permission must be maintained for the duration of the copyright of each individual use. If there is no estate, the requester must obtain a written court order from a federal judge permitting the use of the persona. No. When requesting permission, the requester must clearly and factually indicate the intended use, the manner of use, and the duration of the use, not exceeding 3 years for any form of media. The persona or their estate should be compensated on an average of the industry rates for each use for each media type. In the case of no estate, compensation must be placed in the general fund. And the duration violation of this will result in a fines of no less than $1 million per violation, a jail sentence in a federal penitentiary for no less than 10 years, no possibility of parole until no less than 7 years. That is my solution to a very real problem that's coming up.
But how to enforce it?
Oh, enforce you very easy.
I'm going to go to the library and do this.
I see a disconnect between duration of copyright and duration of use not exceeding 3 years.
Well, one is for the estate, and one is for there is still a fee. One is for if there's no estate. Like, let's say that you go generate George Washington. Then I just arbitrarily pick 3 years.
Well, copyright is 7 years or 100 years, depending on individual or corporation.
100 years only been granted once. That was for Mickey Mouse.
Oh, I thought
Football.
I thought that was for any corporation.
Nope.
Okay, but then 3 years. So if someone was to get permission to create John Wayne for a movie, then it seems like 3 years would be a strange limitation for a movie that
Well,
could be.
that's what they have to keep the written notification. Okay. I don't know copyright.
This is a good start. This would be something good to
Some of these
throughout.
you go off of. Okay. This is like, because I'm really concerned about that. Because, like, I would love to see Casablanca Part 2. That'd be a great movie. Maybe. But who kicks Humphrey Bogart is dead, but they're using his persona. And somebody should get compensation for that from his estate. It goes on and on and on.
We're also already seeing creations of personas. There are companies out there that a loved one passes away, give them all the information you have on them, all their social media accounts, everything, and we will create a simulation of that person so that you could talk to them and get their advice, and it's not as if they're still with you.
Yes. Now, one of these, like, the permission, like we've seen it. You see it with President Trump. You see it. You got to get their permission to do it. If you don't, the penalty is severe. That would stop a lot of deep fakes. A lot of them. Now, would it stop those that are coming from overseas? Well, we already know China is really big at this. A lot of the deep fakes coming out are coming out of China. China is probably a good 5 or 10 years ahead of us, the AI world. Their AI is just phenomenal. But here's something we don't talk about much. AI does come at a cost, and that cost is power. AI draw significant power drains to the point where Google is going to be installing nuclear generators to power their AI systems.
Which in the long run, isn't that environmentally again a problem?
Yeah, because they consume a lot of water too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. Environmentally, AI is a disaster, not just power, but they suck up water like it's going out.
Also, a lot of the water is more recycled, and it's not as big as it was portrayed as. It's still huge. And also, I just saw something that I think was Amazon or Google, one of them, has pledged themselves to upgrade the Midwest power grid so that they could take advantage of it.
Most of the AI chips right now are based upon graphics chips.
And the
NVIDIA just bought, or didn't buy, they are leasing the rights to chips that are designed for AI that draw 1/10 the power. They're phenomenal. Okay. Right now, the graphics chips that are generating for AI were not designed. God help me, guys.
Well, NVIDIA is the biggest.
GPUs, AMD, and Intel, the other.
CMC.
The original graphics. They just, there's another company, I can't remember a different company, that developed a chip that is designed for AI. That NVIDIA couldn't buy it. Federal laws prohibit it. But what they can do is lease it. And that's what they did. Which means the cost of the AI is going to come down significantly. The power drainage is going to come down significantly. And it's going to be a lot faster. Because right now, there is high gap with AI. Your querying, so when you get a response, can take up to a minute.
Part of that's also just traffic. Lots of people are using it at the same time.
Yeah. The new chips, they're teeny alike. As a matter of fact, you may be able to run AI on your own machine at all. It's good for train. So it's not practical. Kind of like about that's what just happened this past month. We've been down the rabbit hole. We now just got out of it. I will be like to hear your thoughts, your ideas, your concerns, any discussion. Any other questions, folks? Well, if there are no further questions, we will see you next month for part 3 of our AI. And remember, you asked for this. Oh, some of you may not know. I know you don't know. The topics we discuss are determined by you.
In September, we
September.
really come up with.
The members come up and say, this is what I want to talk about this year. And this past September, the overwhelming desire to talk about AI. And that's where the 3 presentations we've had came from.
And it also happens like in April, if somebody brings up a good topic, and very often they write it down and these bring it back out to us.
3D printing.
Once it's
Anything else? Thank you all very much and have a great month.